That is sensational.
Perfect.
Very fruity. It is delicious. One of the dishes that I have the most amount of issues with. So, I have left the safety of Bratislava, albeit not too far, to go and sample some extraordinary Slovak cuisine here at the Palace Art Hotel in Pezinok. Today, I'm going to taste 5 traditional Slovak dishes, some of which will be done in an alternative style, and that will be paired with local Slovak wines from the vineyard hereby, to be convinced that Slovak cuisine can and should be world class. Okay, so as promised, I am in Pezinok at the Palace Art Hotel to sample some of the local cuisine here in Slovakia. I'm very, very fortunate today that the Mayor's Office have sent me a guest to join me on this odyssey, this exploration into traditional Slovak cuisine. And I'd like to thank Mima for joining me. Thank you very much, Mima.
Thank you very much for the invitation.
And I hope we enjoy a fabulous meal.
Hello,
Hello. Thank you.
Thank you very much. So I'm delighted to be joined by executive chef here, Martin Valovic. And he's here today to teach me, or maybe educate me, or maybe even convince me that Slovak cuisine can be done with a twist, can be world class, and everybody in the world should give it a go. What are we starting with, Martin?
So we're going to serve some Slovakian traditional dishes. The first course which we are serving right now is the cabbage soup. It's made from the fermented cabbage juice. And then there's little, I can call it cake or strudel, okay?
It's a savory strudel.
And so it goes together. Enjoy.
Thank you so much, Martin. Madame, would you like to start your voyage into Slovak soup? Traditionally, polievka soup is an important part of Slovak cuisine. You can't have a Slovak meal without soup. So, bon appetit. Dobrú chuť.
Thank you. Dobrú chuť.
Oh, good grief.
Very good.
That is sensational.
Perfect.
I've got to be very careful because we're going to try a lot of food. I'm going to try this little number, this strudel. Yummy. Výborně.
Perfect.
Vynikajúce.
Vynikajúce.
Fajné. So now we're going to give Martin marks out of 10. This is MasterChef Slovensko. Marks out of 10. 9 out of 10 from me. From you, Mima?
10 from 10.
10 out of 10.
Why we lost at 1 point?
Well, because you can't get 10 every time. This was delicious, by the way, and the strudel, unbelievable. Absolutely fabulous, and I can really taste the cabbage in there, and I really taste the mushrooms as well, and obviously everything with bacon. Bacon makes absolutely everything better. Martin, done a great job. Thank you very much. So,
Pleasure.
yes, chef. 9 out of 10, 10 out of 10.
Thank you.
What do we have here? The good stuff.
It's nice stuff, it's nice young wine, it's white wine, it's Sauvignon Blanc. It's a lovely light, fruity one. It's with a hint of gooseberries.
Wow.
And also kiwi. You can smell kiwi, so
Amazing.
I think it's time for...
It's absolutely not complete having a lunch like this in a venue like this without having some wine. Smells beautiful. This is what they do in TV, right? Swirl it, swirl it, swirl it, swirl it.
Smell it and
Smell.
taste it.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Cheers. Wow, that's yummy.
Lahodné.
Lahodné?
Lahodné.
Lahodné.
Cheers.
Thank you very much. It's delicious. Very fruity. And also, the region is famous for its wine and its grapes. And Zámok Pezinok also very famous for its own vineyard as well. This is delicious.
Very good.
Absolutely. Okay, so now we are going to one of the dishes that I have the most amount of issues with. It's done very elegantly, which is probably the most traditional Slovak dish. If there was one dish that you could identify with the country, this would be it.
Je to brinzové hádočky. Usually people who like goat cheese, you know, which is quite strong in flavor, they're quite okay with also brinza. Traditional we serve it with bacon,
Yep.
yeah, which is cooked crispy.
A very interesting story. Chris Hemsworth was one of your clients. Thor, the guy with the big biceps. Did you ever cook him brinza hoshki?
Most of the time, you know, very rarely once I cook pyrohi similar with brinza with one client, they asked me for it because they heard about it.
Yeah.
So that was only the ones I tried.
Okay, so if I don't like it and Thor never tried it, we're okay. But I will give it a go.
Please. We like to eat this dish with milk.
Oh.
But
Fact.
variety fermented milk or other types called chinchita.
Okay, well, stay here with me a minute because we're going to give you our verdict. So, ladies first, without further ado, let's munch away on the national treasure. I mean, it's very rich. And I'm supposed to sip it out of here?
Yes, please.
Well, you know what? It's definitely not my favorite, but this is the best version I've ever had. It's super rich, and it has bacon on it again, which is a good thing, because we decided earlier that everything with bacon on, if you put bacon on, it makes everything better. But chef, you've done a fabulous job. My compliments to Marek also in the kitchen. This is a very good rendition of the national treasure. I'm still not convinced. So marks out of 10 from you?
9.
9 out of 10. From me, I'm going to go with an 8.
Okay.
Because, you know, it is a part of the national culture, part of the heritage, and you've done it so elegantly and it looks fantastic. So thank you very much. On this voyage, I don't think I could eat a whole bowl of that.
We got much more going, you know?
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
My kids love this.
Yeah?
Yeah, my eldest daughter, she absolutely loves this. Okay, so I think now we're progressing to the next installment in my cardiac arrest of a day, and another exceptionally traditional local dish. Mima says that she makes the best goulash in the world. So Martin, you've got your work cut out.
As you mentioned, this is a beef goulash. We kept it really traditional way, you know, just nice beef stew, you know. The bread which is served with the goulash is a homemade goulash, finished with onion. Okay, enjoy.
And the tradition,
Yeah.
it's, do I have to go in any specific order?
You eat it together with the bread.
Okay,
That's it.
here. Cheers, there we go. Oh, good heavens.
Very good.
Honestly, I could eat this all day, every day. Probably wouldn't do wonders for my waistline. Okay, so now for your execution. We're going to give marks out of 10. Mima, what are you thinking for this one?
10.
There's a definite
10.
10 there. For me, that's a 10 as well. Absolutely fantastic. This is delicious. I'm sorry, I might get divorced. My Spocker doesn't make goulash this good. So fabulous, and cheers.
Yes.
Pivo. Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Okay, here we go.
This is the sauce.
We need a close-up of these, and not my pink jeans. Real men can wear pink. Unbelievable.
The sauce that we reduced, you know, and made it a little bit of more combined as a puree. The beef we kept whole piece. The onion, which is a part of goulash, which you had before, is dehydrated.
Wow.
And also there is some green oil, which is a chive oil as well. So we kept everything, all the ingredients it should be.
Amazing. Okay, so we will try. This is so pretty. They say you eat with your eyes. It's very hard to make this. It's very hard to make goulash look attractive, and you've managed to find a way. Oh, good grief! That is sensational. It is delicious. Okay, so now again, I'm glad we still have the beer. Cheers. Let's give you marks out of 10 for the deconstructed goulash. It's a 10 from me.
Thank you.
10 for me.
And
Thank you.
I don't think we could have improved on the original goulash. I like both versions, but this one is specifically interesting because of the sauce on the side and the meat and the potatoes separate as well. Fabulous. This compliments to the chef.
Thank you very much.
Excellent.
My pleasure.
Thank you.
Now it's time for our treasure. Today is a special day because this wine today won 3 big gold medals somewhere in France
Wow.
in a competition. So we are very proud of this wine. It's called pavon. In Latin it means peacock. So this is our emblem. It's nice red wine. It's a blend of 2 wines. It's Pinot Noir and Blanc Frankish. And it's lovely flavor and it's deep. It's with forest fruits. And hopefully you're gonna like it.
I'm very happy to hear that it's internationally acclaimed. It's won 3 gold stars in France,
Yeah.
of all places.
Yeah, from all the world.
Cheers onto the red wine. Oh, yum. That is fantastic. Sensational. I'll be taking a case of the pavon back with me later. I'll be sleeping like a baby tonight. Okay. So I've been looking forward to this dish when we agreed the menu before. This is quite possibly my favorite dish in the country. This is what I call the gold standard of Slovak cuisine.
The key is to have a good quality, top quality of the duck or the goose. Then good brine in liquid, good confit and good finishing. You know, crispy skin. That's the key.
If I had to be prized out of a burning building, I know I said Haralki before, but if I was taken out of a burning building, loksha is the one thing I would go take with me. It's the greatest invention in the history of mankind. If I were to take Slovakia on the road, I would take a whole case of loksha. This is just amazing. Can we come and have a look at the loksha here? I don't want to spoil the artistry here. Just look at that. Potato pancake, probably cooked in duck fat too?
It's not in duck. It's
goose fat?
heated in the duck fat.
Heated
Yes.
in goose and duck fat.
It needs some fat.
Super unhealthy, but everything unhealthy tastes good, right, chef?
That's true.
I've been waiting for this when I saw the menu, when we approved the menu last week, and I obviously going straight for the loksha. Unbelievable. But I must commend you. This is just absolutely sensational. There are no superlatives. There are absolutely no words I could go to describe just how good the loksha is, and the duck, and the braised red cabbage. There's probably no point even grading you, but we're going to give you a mark anyway. So, marks for the duck and for the loksha and for the cabbage. How much out of 10?
10.
She's going to go with a 10. I'm going to go with a 12. 10 is not enough. This is absolutely amazing. And to go with the pavon wine, which is an award-winning wine from France, I can't endorse this enough. If I would travel just from Bratislava to Pezinok, I would come just to have a glass of that red wine and to eat this on its own. It's absolutely fabulous. And the loksha you could eat with anything. Thank you, chef. Amazing.
My pleasure.
Delicious. Marek, well done. Okay, so now I understand we're going to have a variation on a theme.
So, you had before a traditional roasted duck leg, husacina, as I mentioned, or kačacie hory. This is reconstructed, so here you can have actually everything on the plate.
All the elements are there.
All the elements are there.
Looks pretty as a picture.
Thank you.
And the deconstructed, and you're going to have to stay there. And I'm going to go through it a little bit. I tell you what, this demi-glace is absolutely sensational. This reduction sauce. The terrine is very rich, but very, very full-bodied. Marks out of 10. So if we're going to give you a mark out of 10,
Yeah.
how much?
10.
10. She's been very generous.
Yeah.
For me, I'm going to go old school. I prefer the traditional version.
Okay.
I actually think that the demi-glace sauce is the nicest thing I've tasted today. Absolutely delicious. I'm going to go with a 9.5. I'm a very big fan of modern cuisine, but of all the Slovak food that I eat that's traditional, I like the goose and the duck and the loksha and the cabbage to be the old school way. But I love what you've done here, and the food is sensational. And this sauce, oh my word. This for me, awesome, loved it, would have it every time. The other one as well, but this sauce especially unbelievable. And I really, really mean that. I'm quite a harsh critic normally, but this sauce is just sensational. Thank you very much, chef.
Pleasure.
And now, I think just before our heart attack is complete, we are going to have our dessert wine.
It's with raspberries, strawberries. Probably you like it.
I'm sure I will. Right now, my mind is going in all sorts of different places. I've eaten so much, I've drank so much. I can already smell the fruit.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. Chin chin.
Chin chin.
Here's to the last installment before we have a heart attack. Oh, yum.
Sweet.
Oh, yum.
Very sweet.
Very nice.
Some people, they feel like traditional Slovak candies, bombari. Like them, hard candies.
Bombari.
Tastes like this. Yeah.
Interesting story that I went to Červený Kamen, which is not far from here, and they produce a strawberry wine there. That was the former Pope, Pope John Paul's favorite wine. And they used to ship that wine to the Pope. So obviously fruit wine is very traditional to the region. It's delicious.
Yeah.
Thank you. And here we go. I can see that our meal is coming to a conclusion because our dessert has arrived. And this too is one of perhaps the most traditional things in Slovakia. My kids absolutely adore it. Mima said her dad makes the best buchty in town. Martin has got big shoes to fill. What is bomba?
Bomba.
Bomba.
Oh.
So this is the traditional steamed bun, which is filled with plum jam.
Everything about this looks like. Is it always this size?
So it depends on the restaurant, you know.
So
This is the other way.
go big or go home, basically, or go big or go home in an ambulance. It looks fantastic. It's enormous. And after we've eaten 832 courses, we're going to dig in. Please stay here, chef.
So, tricky way as well to prepare, you know. You have to have a good quality of flour, good balance of yeast, you know.
And how did this come about as a traditional Slovak? Oh my word.
Here again, actually all these dumplings came to Europe, got to Europe from China.
If you see that we have poppy seeds here,
Yes.
mac, right?
Mac.
There's not poppy seeds?
So that's a jam, yeah, a bit of muck, yes.
Yeah, this is a little bit of poppy seeds are also something that are desperately traditional in Slovak cuisine. I think that it doesn't exist, but there should be an emoji that is shaped like a buchty, because this is absolutely fabulous. And I would like to say a very big thank you to my guest, Mima Petrusova from the mayor's office in Pezinok, who has a desperately important meeting that she has to run to now. Thank you very much for being a guest. And just before Mima leaves, we have to give you our verdicts, our grades, our marks. This is, for me, a 10 out of 10. For you?
Yeah.
Martin, it's been an absolute pleasure, a joy. I'm so grateful to the whole of the staff at the hotel. This has been an absolute pleasure, and I'm very delighted that traditional Slovak cuisine can be done in an elevated fashion. And it's great that we have chefs like Martin Valovic involved in places like this, local vineyards, award-winning wines, award-winning dishes. Traditional Slovak food can and should be international. Absolutely enjoyed my time here. Cheers. Here's to hospital.
Thank you for
Cheers.
coming in, ďakujem.
Thank you. So now after that extraordinary meal, 4 traditional Slovak dishes, punctuated by the buchty at the end, we're going to go into the kitchen and see exactly how it was made. And say thank you to the guys. Martin, thank you. That was absolutely delicious. Really, really pleasure eating this food. Delicious. Thank you. Thank you very much. Marek, a genius, a young genius. Absolutely delicious. And have a look at that again. Fabulous. Rafa, thank you very much. Ivan, Jiki Mots. And this is where all the magic happens. So that's a wrap on today, and it's been an extraordinary day. I can barely make it down the steps with all the food that I've eaten here and the little bit of wine that I've sampled too. We've had an extraordinary day of eating traditional Slovak food. We've had duck, we've had loksha, we've had brinzové halušky, we've had polievka, we've had buchty, all the traditional Slovak dishes done, some of which in an alternative, deconstructed fashion, if you will. And that's all been paired with Slovak wines. I'm absolutely full to the brim, and I'm very warm to recommend this venue, the Palace Art Hotel, and executive chef Martin Valovic, and the hospitality that we received here at Zámok Pezinok, at Šimák zámok Pezinok. Oh, it's hard for me to say. Fabulous day of eating, fabulous day of shooting, and a fabulous location.